Hi, welcome to the next devlog of my VR magic-based game. I'm Kate, and in today's video I will show you some fun stuff like the process of creating this map, improvement of the telekinesis, and I will talk a little about what this game will be. If you follow me on Twitter, you probably are familiar with this map. This is supposed to be a tutorial location. There is a mountain surrounding this whole place to prevent the player from leaving it unintentionally. In this area, the player will be learning his first spells, and to leave it, he will have to cast a teleport spell. Teleport spells are not implemented yet, but as a preparation for that, I introduced a new type of spell based on the context. Basically, how it works is to check specific requirements besides the gesture to allow the spell to happen. In this case, it simply checks if there is an object of a specific layer and component. I'm still not sure how my gestures will be constructed to represent a certain spell. In the Harry Potter series, gestures are not like what they are doing. Maybe I will take inspiration from pagan symbols. The whole spell requirement system is now based on a scriptable object, where each spell has its own instance of a requirement. In most cases, it's just a simple requirement for a specific gesture, but we can create more complex conditions like this spell with activating the ball. The spell system is constantly improving. Right now, the player is able to have one continuous spell active at a time. By continuous, I mean spells that the player has ongoing control over after casting, like Telekinesis. With that, we cannot use two hands to move two different objects, because the second spell will be cancelling the first one. That will be the next thing to fix. I try to not ignore the audio side of this game, because it really boosts the whole experience and gives an extra feeling. Currently I'm living near the forest and by the sea. In one of my walks, I realized that this sound would be perfect for my forest location. I found it quite hard to record the sounds of nature, especially without the wind protection. But I hope that I did it decently as my first attempt. Here is the result in the game. Something is definitely missing on this view. Maybe some delicate waves on the surface of water, some flora, and maybe a few small fish or amphibians. I spent quite some time thinking about the direction for this game. It's still a very early concept, but the game itself definitely will be an RPG with open or semi-open world. I thought about MMO for a while, but it would be too much for a single developer. To not feel lonely in this world, I would like to create a human companion who will be helping us decrypting the stuff found in the world. The big part of the game will be focused on our base, which will be located on the flying island. To get there, we will have to unlock the flying ability first. After that, we will be able to teleport to this location anytime and probably from anywhere. The main purpose of this base will be to prepare ourselves for the next adventure. There we will be brewing our potions and training spells. I have the first sketch of the storyline, but I will keep it secret for now. To learn most of the spells, we will have to find some runes or ancient papers and decrypt it in our base with our mage friend. Of course, like a proper RPG, it won't be missing fighting with creatures. After all, that's for what we have our fancy spells. The goal I have is to create a relaxing atmosphere in most parts of the game and exciting storyline, quests and fights. If you, like me, love a lot of magic, crafting, cooking and so on, I hope that you will find it interesting. I thought about how spell progression should work. Should they be elemental specific, or should every spell have its version for each of the elements? I lean towards the Diablo-like progression, when you are able to learn all of the spells, but it will be more efficient for you to focus on a couple and skill up. That will give us reason to complete the game more than once, with different builds this time. The last thing I wanna share with you today, and the most exciting part for me personally, is a new improved version of Telekinesis. Previously, the Telekinesis was triggered by pressing the button, so it was inconsistent with the rest of the spells. Right now, it's just a common spell with their own gesture. You can notice that the cone-like range is now only working when telekinesis is triggered. To catch some object, we need to continuously aim at it for a while. The main improvement in telekinesis is the movement. It's definitely easier to aim at something right now, and feeling is much better. It still works similar to the previous version. We track a hand velocity and apply it to these objects, but besides that, we boost the velocity change when we move the hand in the opposite direction. With that, we have a lot more control of the object. Another tweak is to boost the velocity when we reach a certain velocity threshold, which corresponds to the throwing. So we don't have to use that much force to hit the target. Here you can compare old and new system. That's it for today's video. I'm really curious about what you think of the progress and direction of this game. If you have any suggestions, feel free to write it in the comments. Thank you for watching, have a great day until the next time!